Right then, Blades fans, massive news coming your way today. We're talking January transfer window. We're talking exits, arrivals, and one player who could genuinely change our season. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button right now. Join thousands of fellow Blades who get the latest updates first. Hit the bell icon too, you don't want to miss what's coming. Today's update is absolutely packed. 3 huge stories that could define our second half of the season. First up, Joe Rothwell. The ex-Leeds midfielder currently at Rangers. We're apparently in pole position to bring him to Bramall Lane. Is this the midfield reinforcement Chris Wilder desperately needs? Then the Ben Godfrey situation finally resolved. His loan's being terminated, and there's a dream replacement target that will get you lot buzzing. And finally, Cheetah's Aubin. His loan hasn't worked out, and we need to talk about what happens next with the Ipswich winger. Stick around for all 3 stories. Trust me, you'll want to hear every detail. Let's get into it. Confirmed. Sheffield United in pole position to sign Rangers midfielder this January, and he's got Leeds United connections. Right. Let's set the scene here. Joe Rothwell, 30 years old, currently on loan at Rangers from Bournemouth, and according to the Daily Record, we're leading the race to bring him to South Yorkshire when the window opens. For those who don't know him, Rothwell spent time on loan at Leeds last season. He was part of that squad that won promotion back to the Championship. Experienced in this division, knows what it takes. But here's the thing, his time at Rangers hasn't gone to plan at all. He joined them in the summer under Russell Martin's management. Since then, he's struggled for game time, he's struggled for form, and Rangers are apparently willing to let him go. That's where we come in. The Daily Record's reporting is pretty clear on this one. They say we're in pole position to sign Joe Rothwell in January, and that we're confident of getting the deal done when the transfer window opens. Chris Wilder's been vocal about what he needs. 3 or 4 new players. Midfield and defense are the priority areas. He's even put a target date on it, January 4th. That's our first match back, at home against Oxford United. Wilder wants bodies through the door by then. Now, will we get all 4 signings done that quickly? Probably not. But Wilder's confident we can get some in early, and Rothwell could well be one of them. Here's what makes this interesting. Rothwell's only made a handful of appearances for Rangers since joining. He's clearly not in their plans. That means there's a deal to be done here without breaking the bank. When Rothwell joined Rangers back in the summer, he said all the right things. Talked about how the club's stature spoke for itself. How working with Russell Martin again made the decision easier. But Martin's gone now. Rangers are struggling, and Rothwell's stuck on the periphery. Compare that to what we can offer. Regular football in the Championship. A manager in Chris Wilder who knows how to get the best out of experienced professionals. And a squad genuinely pushing for the playoffs despite the disastrous start under Sells. Think about where we are right now. 19th in the table, 4 points above the relegation zone. But we're only 9 points off the playoffs. 9 points. That's 3 wins, 3 good performances, and suddenly we're right back in the conversation. And that's without the January reinforcements. Add Rothwell into that midfield alongside Gustavo Hammer. That starts to look tasty. That starts to look like a midfield that can control championship matches. Rothwell's got the experience. He's played at this level. He knows what it takes to get promoted. But here's where it gets even better. Wilder's talked about the African Cup of Nations affecting our targets. Some of the quality we're looking at will be away with their countries. That narrows the pool. But Rothwell's available. He's English. No international complications. We can get him in, get him settled, and get him playing immediately. And this isn't just speculation, either. Yorkshire even backs this up. They're reporting Wilder wants 3 or 4 for midfield and defense. Up to 10 players could leave either permanently or on loan. This is a proper January clear out and rebuild. Stephen Bettis, our chief executive, is working flat out with the owners to make this happen. Wilder says the owners have been receptive to the recommendations. That's crucial. That means there's money to spend. That means we're serious about this window. So where does Rothwell fit in all this? He's exactly the profile we need. Experienced, available, affordable, and desperate for regular football. Think about our midfield options right now. Hammer's brilliant, obviously. But beyond him, we need more quality. We need more control. We need someone who can dictate tempo, who can see a pass, who can help us dominate possession in the middle of the park. Rothwell can do that. His loan spell at Leeds proved he can perform in the Championship. He was part of a promotion-winning squad. That experience is invaluable. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. He's 30. Is he too old? Is this just papering over cracks? Here's my take on that. We need experience right now. We need players who've been there, done that. Players who won't panic when things get tight. Players who know how to see out a season in the championship. Rothwell ticks those boxes. And at 30, he's not ancient. He's entering his prime years for a midfielder. The next 2 or 3 seasons could be his best. But this isn't just about Rothwell. This is about what his signing represents. It shows ambition. It shows we're not settling for a relegation battle. It shows we're planning to climb that table. Because let's be honest, our squad's too good to be 19th. We all know that. The talent's there. The experience is there. We just need those final pieces. The players who can turn narrow defeats into narrow wins. The players who can turn draws into victories. And that's what January is all about. I want to hear from you lot on this one. Do you rate Joe Rothwell? Would you be happy with this signing? Or would you rather we spent the money elsewhere? Let me know in the comments below. This channel is all about the community. Your opinions matter. Before we move on, if you're enjoying this, hit that like button. It genuinely helps the channel grow and means more Blades fans see these upgrades. Appreciate you all. Right, let's talk about the players leaving. Another update, and this one's got 2 sides to it. One disappointing, one potentially spectacular. Let's start with the exit. Godfrey, his loan spell's being terminated. He's heading back to Atlanta, and honestly, good riddance. I don't say that lightly. I never want to see a player fail at our club, but Godfrey's been an absolute disaster. Signed by Rothwell in the summer, came in with a decent reputation from his Everton days. Played 1 match under Wilder that Charlton defeat back in September and hasn't been seen since. Not injured, not unfit, just not in Wilder's plans at all. He's been turning out for the under-21s. That tells you everything. A 27-year-old international quality defender playing kids football because the manager doesn't rate him. Chris Wilder's kept tight-lipped about why Godfrey's been frozen out. Professional, as always. But the writing was on the wall. And now it's confirmed he's off back to Italy when the window opens. Here's the kicker, though. Godfrey was on 75 grand a week. 75,000 pounds. That's not just the highest wage in our squad, that's the 4th highest in the entire championship. Think about that for a second. We've been paying him more than almost anyone else in this division to play under 21 football. Absolute madness. But here's where it gets interesting. With Godfrey leaving, we free up a loan slot. We free up a massive chunk of wage budget. And suddenly, we've got room to bring someone in who'll actually play. And that someone could be Jack Clark. Now, before we get carried away, this is unlikely. Let's be clear about that. Jack Clark's on Ipswich's books. They paid Sunderland $15 million for him. He's contracted until 2029. This isn't an easy deal to do, but according to reports, we're interested. And there's a scenario where this could happen. Clark's struggling for game time at Ipswich. He's competing with Jaden Philogene for that left wing spot, and Philogene's ahead of him in the pecking order. Clark's a player who destroyed the championship for 2 seasons at Sunderland, 26 goals and 16 assists over those campaigns. Absolutely sensational numbers. But in the Premier League, he can't get a look in. Now, imagine we could offer him regular football. Imagine we could convince him that Bramall Lane's the place to rebuild his form. Imagine Jack Clark on the left, cutting inside, creating chances, scoring goals. We saw what he can do earlier this season. We played Ipswich away under Sells. They battered us 5-0. Clark was unplayable that day. Absolutely rinsed us. That's the quality we're talking about. That's the player we could potentially bring in. Now, Gustavo Hammer's been playing out wide for us recently. He's done a decent job there, to be fair, but Hammer's a central midfielder. That's where he's most effective. That's where he controls matches. If we sign Clark, Hammer moves back into the middle. Clark takes the left wing, and suddenly, we've got genuine quality in both positions instead of compromising. Think about what that does for our attack. Harrison Burrows providing width on the left as a fullback. Clark cutting inside from the wing. Hammer pulling strings in the middle. That's a completely different proposition. That's a front line that can hurt championship defenses. But let's be realistic here. This is a difficult deal. Ipswich paid big money for Clark. They're not going to let him go cheap. Even on loan, they'll want guarantees. They'll want loan fees. They might want obligations to buy. Can we afford that? Maybe. The Godfrey money helps. The potential departures of other high earners Aubin, Louis Barry that frees up more budget. But it's still a stretch. It's still ambitious. And that's exactly why I'd love to see us try. Because here's the thing about January windows. They're about taking chances. They're about being bold. Safe signings get you mid-table. Ambitious signings get you promoted. Jack Clark's an ambitious signing. He's the kind of player who changes seasons, who turns playoff hopefuls into automatic promotion contenders. Is it likely? Probably not. Is it possible? Absolutely. And even if we don't get Clark, the principle stands. We need quality on that left side. We need someone who can create, someone who can score, someone who frightens defenders. Whether it's Clark or someone else, that has to be the profile. No more stopgaps. No more compromises. If we're serious about climbing this table, we need serious players. Here's what excites me most about this, though. It shows intent. It shows we're not just thinking about survival. We're thinking bigger. We're thinking about getting back into those playoff positions and mounting a proper push. Because with our squad, properly reinforced, we can absolutely do that. Look at the names we've got. Look at the quality. We shouldn't be 19th. We should be top 6. And with the right additions in January, we can get there. But it needs to be the right additions. Not more Ben Godfreys. Not more players who look good on paper, but don't fit the system. We need players who suit Chris Wilder's style. Players who'll graft. Players who understand what it means to wear a Sheffield United shirt. Jack Clark came through Leeds Academy. He knows this region. He knows Yorkshire football. He knows what the rivalries mean. That matters. That cultural fit matters. And yes, he played for Leeds. Some of you might have issues with that. But you know what? If he scores the goals that get us promoted, I couldn't care less where he came from. Judge players on what they do for us, not where they've been before. So that's the question for you lot. Would you take Jack Clark at Bramall Lane? Would you be happy signing an ex-Leeds Academy product? Or would you rather we looked elsewhere? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to know where the fanbase stands on this. And while you're down there, leave a like on this video. Every like helps push this content to more Blades fans. Let's grow this community together. Right? One more story to cover, and it's about another player headed for the exit door. Final story of today's update, and it's about Chidozie Aubin. His loan spell's been disappointing, and now we're hoping Ipswich recall him in January. According to Alan Nixon, who's usually reliable on these things, we're expecting Ipswich to take Aubin back. But there's a complication. A big one. Let me explain the situation. Aubin joined us on loan from Ipswich at the start of the season. Another Ruben Sells signing. 28 years old. Republic of Ireland international. Looked decent on paper. In practice, he's made 10 appearances for us. 0 goals. 1 assist. And he's clearly not in Chris Wilder's plans for the second half of the season. So terminating the loan makes sense for everyone. We get a squad space back. Aubin gets a chance to play elsewhere. Ipswich get their player back. Except it's not that simple. Here's the problem. Aubin played 3 times for Ipswich earlier this season, twice in the Championship, once in the Carabao Cup. Then he came to us and played 10 times. That's the clubs in the same season. Under FIFA's 3-club rule, he can't play for a 3rd English club this season. He's maxed out. If Ipswich recall him and then want to loan him out again, it has to be abroad. And not just anywhere abroad. It has to be a league that doesn't run the same season as England. Most European leagues are out. Germany, Spain, Italy, France, they all run August to May, same as us. The MLS is probably the only realistic option. Their season runs March to October. But even then, would Aubin want to go to America? Would MLS clubs want him? It's a massive upheaval. So Ipswich have a dilemma. Take him back and keep him, or leave him with us until the summer. Nixon's reporting suggests they're not obligated to recall him. They'll only do it if they get an offer from someone. An actual transfer, not another loan. But who's buying Aubin based on this season's form? He's done nothing to justify a permanent move. Let's look at Ipswich's situation. They've got Sindra Wall-Egley. They've got Cassie McAteer. They've got Wes Burns coming back from injury. That's 3 right wingers ahead of Aubin in the pecking order. They don't need him. They don't want him. But they're stuck with him because of this 3-club rule. And we're stuck with him too, unless Ipswich take him back. It's a mess. An absolute administrative mess that benefits nobody. For us, it's frustrating because Aubin's taking up a lone slot we could use on someone better. Someone who actually fits Wilder's system. Someone who get minutes. We've got Aubin coming in on loan from Reading. Young center back, brought in because we're short at the back. But we can only have so many loans at once, and Aubin's using one of those spots. That limits our options. That restricts what we can do in January. Here's the broader point, though. This is exactly why the summer window was such a disaster. Ruben Sells made signing after signing without thinking long-term, without thinking about whether these players fit the club, without thinking about what happens if results go badly. Aubin's just one example. Godfrey's another. Louis Barry, who's returning to Aston Villa, that's a third. These were panic buys. These were names on paper without proper scouting, without proper planning, and now we're paying the price. We're spending January unpicking the damage from August. That's why this window is so important, not just for the players we bring in, but for the ones we move out. We need to clear out. We need to reset. We need to build a squad that actually makes sense. Chris Wilder knows this. He said as much publicly. Up to 10 players could leave this month permanent or loan. That's a third of the squad. That's a massive overhaul. But it's necessary. You can't fix mistakes by keeping the same players around. You can't change direction without changing personnel. So Aubin will likely go. Godfrey's definitely going. Barry's going back to Villa. And there'll be others too. That creates space. That creates opportunity. That gives Wilder the chance to build something properly. Because here's what gets lost in all this negativity about loans not working out. Chris Wilder's excellent at the loan market. Look at what he did in his previous spell here. Look at the players he brought in on temporary deals who made massive contributions. He knows what he's doing. He knows which players fit his system. He knows which loans are worth taking and which ones aren't. The summer loans weren't his. They were Sells, and that's why they haven't worked. January's different. January's Wilder's window, and I back him to get it right. So yes, Aubin's been disappointing. Yes, it's a complicated situation with the 3-club rule. Yes, it limits our options, but it's not the end of the world. We move on. We find better players. We build a squad that can actually compete. That's what January's for. That's what this window's all about. Here's my question for you. Knowing what you know now about the 3-club rule and Aubin's situation, do you think Ipswich will recall him? Do you think they'll find a buyer? Or are we stuck with him until summer? Let me know below. And if you've watched this far, seriously thank you. Drop a comment, hit like, and let's keep this community thriving. One more story to wrap up, and then I'll let you go. Right then, let's bring this all together. 3 stories, 3 very different situations, but they all point to the same thing. January is going to be massive for Sheffield United. Quick recap. Joe Rothwell from Rangers. We're in pole position. Experienced midfielder who knows the championship. Could be exactly what we need alongside Hammer in the middle of the park. Ben Godfrey's loan terminated. Frees up wages, frees up a loan slot, and suddenly there's talk of Jack Clark from Ipswich. Unlikely, yes, but imagine if we pulled that off. Imagine Clark on the left wing with Hammer back in central midfield. That's a completely different team. And Chida's Aubin. His loan hasn't worked. We're hoping Ipswich take him back, but the 3-club rule makes it complicated. Either way, he's not part of Wilder's plans, and we need that squad space for someone who is. Add it all up, and you've got the makings of a serious January window. Not just clearing out the deadwood though, that's important, but bringing in real quality. Players who can help us climb this table. Because remember where we are, 19th, 4 points above the drop zone, but only 9 points off the playoffs. 9 points, that's nothing in the championship. 3 good wins, and suddenly we're right back in the conversation. Chris Wilder knows what he's doing. He's done it before at this club. He knows how to build championship squads. He knows which players fit, and now he's got the January window to prove it again. The owners are backing him. Stephen Bettis is working flat out on deals. The pieces are falling into place. This is where you lot come in. I need you engaged with this content. I need you sharing these videos. I need you getting the word out to other Blades fans. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're building something special here, a community of proper Sheffield United fans who care about the club, who want detailed analysis, who want to know what's really happening behind the scenes. Smash that like button. Every like helps push this to more fans. Every like helps grow this channel. Turn on notifications. You don't want to miss the next update when these transfers start actually happening. when we announce Joe Rothwell, when we see who else comes through the door, and most importantly, get involved in the comments. Tell me what you think about these stories. Tell me who you'd sign. Tell me how you'd fix this squad. This channel's a conversation, not a lecture. I'll be back with more upgrades as January develops, more transfer news, more tactical analysis, more everything you need to follow the Blades. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of this community. Come on, you Blades. Let's make January count. I'll see you in the next one.